I think we make the mistake, especially in this culture. I'm getting very philosophical and full of shit, so don't pay any attention to me. But
want to know what Tim is up to right now? You're about to find out. And you're in for an even bigger treat because what you're about to watch is just a little tiny taste of our big delicious video. If you think you know Tim Daly now, even if you've watched my other talks with Tim, you will get to know Tim intimately after our big juicy talk. You can watch it now. Click on this or the link in the description below. And now let's get to the fun taste.
I've been thinking a lot, and all actors do because we're sort of cursed with this, about the difference between actual self-esteem and other esteem. And actors all the time, including me probably right now, feel incredibly less than when they're unemployed. You know, it's like nobody loves me, nobody likes me, and it's very rare and very hard and you know, an ongoing practice to try to think, okay, I'm enough right now, and I don't need people clapping for me, and I don't need people offering me jobs or money or all this stuff. I'm okay, just like this. It's hard.
That is, I think that is, to me, just from my experience talking to so many actors, I think that is the common experience. And just because, so everybody feels it, no matter how successful they are, no matter how much success they've had, they always feel like they're never going to work again, and they don't feel good when they're not working. They don't feel good about themselves, and it's a struggle, a constant struggle. Just the fact that everybody has it, I don't know, that's the hardest thing about it. And the ironic part of it is that you're in this field where you're in a constant state of rejection too. So even if you're not right now, like you're not working on anything right now except pitching.
Yeah.
Developing. But so you're not working, but you're not getting rejected. Well, I guess at that same point.
Well, although I mean, you know, it's interesting. I'm at an interesting kind of crossroads right now because on the one hand, I feel this sort of overarching rejection because there's kind of nothing out there for me, nothing, and so it's not like specific project where I was in consideration or there was an audition or something and you were rejected because of that. It's like there's no opportunity. On the other hand, it's kind of exciting in a weird way if I can turn my mind around because nobody, you know, there's a whole new group of people that don't really know who I am, and I'm gonna, you know, I'm solidly in that get those damn kids off my lawn era of my life now, which is different, and so I feel like if I can get some opportunity, I can really reinvent myself as something
That's interesting.
else, because you know, one of the great things about being an actor is that you don't have to, you know, it's not like an athlete where you lose your ability and you're gone. You know, your ability hopefully gets better and more interesting and honed as you get more experience. So, you know, I'm sort of sitting here waiting for someone to, it's like starting over, like to give me a shot.
Right. But like, that's part of the hard part too, is like, who are you waiting for? Like, when is it going to happen? I remember hearing, I think it was Alec Baldwin, never mind his issues, but Alec Baldwin was on Comedians in Cars with Seinfeld. And I remember they were having a conversation and Alec Baldwin was just like, people don't realize there's no talent police. The police aren't going to show up at your door one day and say, you're talented, I'm going to take you over and make you a star or whatever.
Right.
So I think that's one of the things too that people realize as time goes on is it's not like you're waiting and people are just going to discover you or whatever. So you know that you have to actively be the pursuer, which is, again, it's a hard thing, I think.
And it's also, you have to have permission to do it. I mean, you know, I could do King Lear in my shower, and that's not going to really make it for me.
Yeah.
You know.
But by the way, when you do, I just have to jump in and tell you though, when you do little acting, little things, you don't realize you're acting. In the middle of our talk, It's like it's very you like you pretend you're somebody else for a second.
I do?
Not, it hasn't happened many times, maybe twice in today's talk, but it'll grab the viewers too. It's not just me. It's so interesting to watch because you see your talent come out, and it's like, yes, there you are doing your acting thing. It's quite good. You should be doing more of it.
Okay.
I don't mean in conversation. I mean exactly like you said, that skill set doesn't go away. It only gets better. So I see it even in a regular conversation when you're playing somebody to illustrate something.
And here's the thing, though. I need permission. I need permission from someone to do it, which is just a very odd thing. The other thing that's odd is that there's people talk a lot about meritocracies. There's no rhyme or reason to it. There are renowned actors who suck, and there are renowned actors who are fantastic, and there are unknown actors who are brilliant, and there are unknown actors who suck. So it's not like, I mean, if you get on the road to being a lawyer, there's a road and it leads to the end, and then you're a lawyer. And that's what it is.
You practice the law, and you get to practice the law.
And you get to practice the law. And if you're an actor, you get on the road, and there's not even any road. Like, you could be a movie star in 3 months, and then it could all go away, or could come back. I mean, there's no path. So it takes a certain kind of personality to withstand the rejection and the uncertainty and all that stuff. And I think it damages a lot of people, and I think it also drives some people insane, especially if they've had huge success. And I've worked with some of those people, and it's sort of sad because one of the byproducts of their success is that they get isolated from the thing that the impulse that they had to become an actor, which is observing people and life and the things that connect us all. And suddenly they're in a bubble. They're in a private plane, they're in a limo, they're in Bel Air with people who have similar things. They have security. They're unable to sort of observe and be enriched by the real stuff that people are going through.
Yeah, the bigger the star, the more likely that's going to happen.
And honestly, I mean, from my point of view, I'm not going to name names, but I see it in people's work. People who I'm going like, wow, that person is onto something, and then it
vanishes.
It doesn't vanish, but it sort of gives them all these opportunities, and then a few years later, it's like, what happened to their humanity? Like, what happened? Like, why are they?
So you can see the humanity no longer there in their performance.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean,
because you're an actor, especially. But that's what makes the good performances, is the humanity, right?
Yeah.
To an outsider.
Yeah, and sometimes I think, there's a lot of pressure on performers by business people to become a commodity, because that's how they make their dough.
Right. So you said self-esteem and esteem. So self-esteem, but you didn't define them necessarily for me. So self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. So during this time, then what's esteem?
Well, it's self-esteem and other esteem.
Oh, other esteem.
Other esteem. Esteem that comes,
external esteem, kind of.
Yeah, and I mean, I've known a bunch of people who have said to me that one of the loneliest, most depressing moments of their life was, I'm speaking sort of metaphorically, but was like in the limo ride home from the Oscars or the Emmys with the statue. It's like this feeling of emptiness, like, here's this thing that I've sought after and dreamt of and longed for, and now I've got it, and it didn't solve anything. It's just a piece of metal. I mean, and it's good for business, people get opportunities, but that's not going to solve your life. I think we make the mistake, especially in this culture. I'm getting very philosophical and full of shit, so don't pay any attention to me. But I think we constantly think of finish lines. Like, if we could just get here, then everything would be solved. And that ain't it.
No, it's a journey.
It's a journey. It's a practice. Well, I told you the story about Kilimanjaro, I'm sure.
Oh, you did.
You know, look, I mean, I'm an actor. You know, any actor that says like, oh, I don't care about awards, blah, 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 bullshit. The desire to be honored with something like that, every actor has that because you want validation and because it's a business thing. You want to be given other chances. The only reason that I would ever want to be famous or well known is because it gives you a lot more opportunities to work. That's it. I don't want to walk down the street and be hounded by people. I mean, I had, you know, part of my career which was, you know, bordered on that, and that's just, you know, tedious. It's hard, and sometimes really not fun. But you know, actors are vain, and I have vanity, you know, which is really boring, but.
Vanity is boring though, isn't it? But it's like, how do you get rid of it? But could you imagine your life without vanity? It would be freer, more liberated. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you also, though, probably need some of that vanity
for business,
for your work.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and sometimes I think if I just said fuck it and gained 40 pounds, I might get a lot more work. I mean, that might be a new, you know.
That's your reinvention.
There's my reinvention. But then I'd have a heart attack and die.
That's right.
So that would be kind of a bummer.
All right, so that was just a tiny taste of our big, delicious, juicy conversation where we talk about insecurities, self-esteem, social media, family, Tim's sobriety, Tim's most embarrassing moments, and many surprising life philosophies. You can watch our big talk right now. Just click up here or in the description below. I'm Kara. Please remember to subscribe and drop a like if you love this. And oh, my favorite is commenting. So drop a comment, tell me anything you're thinking about this little talk with Tim. I'll see you next time for more fabulous conversation with your favorite people in TV and film.